everybody, Mr. The Fanboy here, back for another video, and this time this is my rant on the New Japan haters and once again the WWE fanboys. Mostly the WWE fanboys, who are of course New Japan pro wrestling haters. And one thing I'm just getting sick of, just like with the TNA thing, which I did in the last video, I am sick of WWE fans comparing their garbage to awesome New Japan stuff. I am sick of WWE fans trying to convince themselves that WWE's product right now is not only on par with New Japan, but they actually think WWE right now is better than New Japan. WWE in no category, not even the categories they specialize in no category are they better than New Japan, except they're bigger. They're a much bigger promotion, except for probably money. Nothing about New Japan is better than nothing about WWE is better than New Japan, except for money and, like I said, their weekly television shows. And that's only because New Japan's weekly television show is a tape show with random matches from different shows put together for a 60-minute wrestling show, which in my opinion, like I said, New Japan needs to fix that in the future. In the future, but the live shows and the various pay-per-views are way better than WWE's shows. WrestleMania 33 this year was terrible. It was only good because of the part-timers. No one from the current roster, from the part-timers and the past stars, no one from the current roster on that show impressed me or did anything or showed that they didn't even deserve to be on the show. The only really good match was Austin Aries and Adrian Neville, and that was on the pre-show. That wasn't even good enough to be on the main card. Everything else outside of the Hardy Boys return, Undertaker's retirement, and the main event, which was Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, the only match people actually popped for and cared about. Everything on that show was just terrible. It was just a bunch of series of long brawls, which gets to my next point. People in WWE actually think that their wrestling is, first off, they think the wrestling is on par. They think the terrible wrestling in WWE is on par with New Japan Pro Wrestling's wrestling, with New Japan's pro wrestling. And then some think WWE's wrestling, because they have so-called storylines, think it is better than New Japan. WWE does not compare to New Japan. Let's start off with their actual in-ring action. The wrestling in WWE is terrible. It's just a series of long brawls and overly exaggerated fake fights. Yes, they try to copy New Japan with these long wrestling clinics. The difference between New Japan, they take wrestling more seriously. They consider themselves wrestlers, fighters, samurai, gladiators. They be beating the crap out of each other. They use a lot of full contact strikes. WWE markets their wrestlers as sports entertainers. So when they try to be like New Japan or the MMA, which is New Japan is similar to that, boxing and MMA and rugby, of course, rugby and football. WWE, you're just watching a super long unrealistic fake fight. And that's a problem. That's one of the things that turned me off to WWE's product and caused me to tune into other wrestling programs. Next, let's talk about what WWE is supposed to specialize in. A lot of people win Okada. I love that. Okada. I miss the days when wrestling companies nowadays, because the wrestlers may have to work there or the employees may also have to work there, they kind of praise WWE or even sometimes kiss WWE's butt. I miss the days when they said, no, WWE is trash. Say what's on your mind. WWE is garbage. WWE is garbage. I love it when the other wrestling companies bash troll and bash WWE. They deserve to be bashed. They deserve to bash. I loved when Okada said he wasn't impressed with Cena and AJ. And he wasn't. And AJ and Cena was the best for WWE standards, but no. So I would put so many wrestling matches from several of the companies above it. Above it. Above it. That was the best wrestling in WWE. Not the best in the business. Not the best in the business. Then you had fans coming out of nowhere saying crap like, oh well, AJ Styles and Cena had one thing New Japan didn't have, and that was story. The whole feud between Okada and Omega had been building since last year. Whereas had been building since last year. Whereas AJ Styles randomly came to Raw randomly for no apparent reason because he had to be the heel in this. He randomly turned heel on Cena. And being for the title, Cena took a break from wrestling and came back, and they had a short promo to set up their match. Cena beat AJ Styles, and AJ Styles went down the card. Whereas we saw Okada and Omega build for a year. That's been building since last year when AJ Styles left for WWE. Kenny Omega was supposed to wrestle for the New Japan, I think the Cruiserweight or Junior Heavyweight Championship, and AJ Styles the Heavyweight Championship. No, they turned on AJ Styles, kicked him out of the group, and he declared his intentions to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. So stop with that. Oh, they didn't have a story. All the matches, especially the main event ones, had a story. WWE nothing. They don't do anything better than New Japan. Wrestling better. Characters and stars and personalities better. They even do skits and funny moments and several comedy spots. They do that better nowadays. So the entertainment in New Japan, which New Japan is not known for, is better than WWE. Build up, arena, everything. Wrestle Kingdom 11 was way better than WWE. Was way better than WrestleMania. WWE has not put on a show close to that. The closest match to that was Austin Aries and Neville, and that was bumped to the pre-show. That was bumped to the pre-show. That wasn't even good enough to be on the card. WWE has yet to produce a good show this year. Next, the wrestlers, the stars. We got Roman Reigns, top star on Raw, getting booed out of the building. The top baby face for the company getting booed out of the building. Not to mention, he sucks. Not to mention, he's not that good of a wrestler and is a very mediocre poor worker, yet he's in the main event. It wouldn't mean much if he was in the mid card, but he's in the main event. Kevin Owens. I supported him as heavyweight champion, but when I look at Kevin Owens, his wrestling style, the way he wrestles, the way he looks, this guy had no business anywhere near a main event title scene. He's where he belongs, in the mid card. Why I don't like squash matches? I'm glad Goldberg took the belt off of him. Next is Bray Wyatt. One of the worst wrestlers of all time. I've hated Bray Wyatt since the get-go. I don't like his gimmick. I don't like his wrestling style. I don't like his storylines. I hated that trash with him and Orton. And the match between him and Orton, which I thought would at least be good because Bray Wyatt is terrible when he's in the ring with Daniel Bryan, Jericho, or in-ring generals. He usually can put on a good match. WrestleMania, that was one of the worst matches I've ever seen. Not even Orton could deliver a good match on the biggest stage of them all. So like I said, you have a roster. In New Japan, you have a solid division. You have a cruiserweight division, which I don't care for. You got a tag team division. And of course you got full time main eventers, heavyweight championship division. WWE, like the taste God said in his WCW 2000 was better than WWE. All you have is a bunch of jobbers and mid-carders and indie stars who can't draw or get anyone excited, and main eventers who are part-timers. And New Japan, one of the reasons I made this video is because New Japan, they have been making great strides. To expand their product outside of Japan. They're doing some stuff in Australia and they're doing some stuff here. And I heard they outsold their show here in America. This is the step. This is the first step in order to competing or being on any level to even merely challenge WWE, to merely challenge WWE, and I hope they get as big as they can, because I actually want them to overtake WWE. I want TNA, New Japan, or one of the other promotions like CMLO to overtake WWE, overtake WWE. I do not like WWE representing mainstream professional wrestling. It should be TNA, New Japan, What Culture Pro Wrestling, NJPW, CMLO. All these should be representing modern day professional wrestling, man. Modern day professional wrestling. That's why when people tell me, you still like wrestling? I always say no, because the biggest one, WWE, is trash, and the ones that are good aren't as big as they should be. So yeah. Well, this video was shorter because there wasn't much, but this was just me getting sick of fans comparing WWE's trash with New Japan. New Japan is real pro wrestling, larger than life characters, stiff wrestling action, and storylines and dramatic build up. WWE is lame, garbage, PG sports entertainment. And I'm gonna end it there. All right, I'm done, people.